Hello, hello. So I am Angie with Connected Parents with Angie, and I'm so excited that you're watching this training. So this training is a follow-up from my most recent training, which was all about why you're not achieving your goals. This training in particular is about paradigms, not only ours, but our children's. And it's going to be short and sweet because, like I've said before, I really want you to listen on repeat so that you really start to understand and put these concepts into practice in your everyday life. So I'm going to jump right in. So let me share my screen. And all right, so here we go. So like I said, whoops, jumped to the end there. But yeah, so this training is all about our paradigms and our children's. So here's the scoop. We're all just paradigms. So if you recall from any previous trainings, our paradigm is our thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions about basically everything in our life. And our paradigms as parents, as as spouses, as children, whatever we think about in our life, our paradigms were created since we were teeny tiny. And they were created by all of the things that we were exposed to, the things we were hearing, seeing, feeling, the things that we watched our parents do, the people in our neighborhoods, all of those things, right? They created our paradigms about how to be a parent, how to make money, how to, things to expect from our spouse, how to be an employee, all of these things. We have a paradigm about basically everything in our life, and our paradigms were created because of what we were exposed to when we were little. And so if you put that same thought into our children, we're creating our kids' paradigms, which we know, our kids watch what we're doing and they hear what we're doing, but we're really literally forming their little paradigms as they're growing and developing. And but I want you to understand that piece that we have the power within us. We talked about this during the last training, but we have the power in us to change our paradigms, or actually to create new paradigms about anything in our life. So just because we were raised to parent a certain way, or because we learned one way about how to make money, that doesn't mean that that needs to be our reality. And we now know, we've been learning together, that we have the power to change that. The same is true for our kids, though, right? If they've only seen us parent them in one way, that's all that they know. So let's take that concept about we really are just all walking paradigms, and our thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions. Let's not forget that they impact so immensely. Our thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions so immensely impact our our thoughts and our feelings, and also then our actions and ultimately our results. And the same is true for our kids. So let's just jump into two examples. That'll be it for this training because I really want you to process this and think it through. But so imagine the circumstance is your child, right? So your child comes into the kitchen, or you're preparing to get your kid up for the day to get ready for school, or whatever it might be. Your child is just your child. They are who they are. And just because things haven't gone so great in the past, in that moment, they're just your child, right? And so their energy, their words, their actions are coming in to your conscious thinking mind. And so if we look at the left-hand side of this visual representation of a paradigm, if we look at the left-hand side and we're thinking negative things based on what our child is presenting to us, or even based on what's happened in the past, if we are thinking negative things like he's always misbehaving, he doesn't appreciate me, he's so difficult to take out in public, other people will judge how I parent, my family doesn't understand, I'm tired of advocating for him all the time. If those are the things that we're thinking on repeat, then there's a very, very strong chance that our feelings are going to be of frustration, irritation, absence of love. And although we may love our children, if we're constantly thinking negative thoughts and we have that on repeat in our mind, then we're going to continue to have negative feelings about them. Even though we're trying to think, I love them, I care so much about them, I'm doing everything I can for them. So if those are our feelings, then our actions are going to be that we're giving them more consequences. Maybe we're, setting up stricter rules. We might be less affectionate than we want to be. We might even say things that are hurtful. And the end result is negative, right? If we are thinking negative things, feeling negative feelings, our body is vibrating in a negative vibe, we're going to take action that ultimately ends up in a negative result, which most likely is our child misbehaving again. But imagine if on the right-hand side of this visual, no matter how our child is behaving, we think he has such a kind heart. He's just doing his best. I love him so much. He just wants my love. If those are the things that we're thinking on repeat and not the things on the left, if we are thinking on repeat, these positive things about how much we love our child, he just wants my love, I love him so much, he's just doing his best, then we are going to feel deep love and appreciation for our child. We're going to feel connected. And those feelings will lead to actions such as giving more hugs, doing sweet actions for them, maybe like putting a special treat in their lunchbox, having the same love regardless of his mood or behaviors, and using kind words towards our kiddos. And the end result will be much more positive. I know that I've said this in previous trainings, but so much of our behavioral change in our kiddos is about us changing the way that we are thinking, feeling, and acting. That will change the results that we're having with our kiddos. And I feel this so strongly, and I've heard so much evidence to this regard. So now moving on from our paradigms, let's look at our kiddos' paradigms and see how this impacts them too. So imagine what's coming into your child is your energy, your words, and your actions. That's what's coming into your child's conscious thinking, right? They see how you're acting, they hear what you're saying, they can feel your vibration when you're around them. And this is something that I wish that I had understood better a few years ago, because I felt like I was saying all the right things and doing all the right things, but I now know that I probably wasn't vibrating at the right level to have the impact that I was trying to have on my child, right? So if your child is perceiving and then thinking, I can't do anything right. She's always correcting me. She looks disappointed in me. It feels like she doesn't love me. I really can't trust adults. If those are the things that your kiddo is thinking on repeat, then he's going to feel, or she's going to feel, disappointment, maybe isolation or absence of love. Chances are, if that's how our children are feeling, then what we're going to see in them, how they're going to act, or the actions they will take will likely be behaviors, testing limits, maybe name calling, aggression, sometimes withdraw. I didn't put that on there, but oftentimes we see the behaviors, but withdrawal can be one of them as well. So if that's how our child is acting based on how they're feeling, they're going to have negative results. We're going to have negative results. It's this vicious cycle. But on the flip side, if we are able to influence our children to think, she thinks I'm great, I can count on her to love me no matter what. She's my biggest fan. I'm so lucky to have such a great mom. She's always there for me with love. And while we cannot control what other people are thinking, the actions that we are putting in front of them will absolutely have an influence on the way that our children are thinking. The actions that we take towards them will absolutely have an influence on the way that they are thinking, which will lead them to feeling deep love, appreciation, connection. It just has to, right? So if that's how our child is thinking, how they're feeling that deep love and appreciation, then it is so much more likely that their actions will be calm. They'll be talking instead of, those behaviors that we tend to see. Those fight or flight responses will be fewer and far between because our children will feel calmer and less on edge. And we will see more acts of love in return from them. Ultimately, a positive result for our children and for us. I just think so strongly that our paradigms and our understanding of our paradigms and our influence over our children's paradigms is so incredibly powerful. And so I want you to listen to this on repeat and to really use your own examples here on the negative and the positive side, both for you and for your child. So, how will you use this information to shift your interactions with your children? I'd love to hear about it. I'd love for you to post in the group. I would love to see parents interacting with parents in the group. And how will you show up differently as the parent that you want to be and hopefully are becoming? So, if you need more clarity, I am here for you. I would love to connect. I do have limited spots available, so let's connect. I'm offering a free session called the Goal Clarity Call where I can really help you solidify what you're working on so that you can start taking those next steps to become the parent that you want to be. So, again, this was short and sweet. Listen to it on repeat and let's connect if you would like more clarity.